Gary Condon. I worked here at Carrie Furnace from 1970 to about 1984. When I worked here, I lived in Bethel Park. Now I live in Washington, PA. So this is Carrie Furnace. It's a blast furnace, one of the last examples of 18th century or 19th century blast furnaces in the country. The furnaces, like I said, were built by the Founds brothers in the 1880s, and then they were bought by Andrew Carnegie, and then we operated them part of U.S. Steel until about 1981 they ceased iron production. In the bottom of the furnace, as you can see around that, and we're going to go up there and we'll walk around and see all this close up, there's a big round pipe. Well, they take air and blow it into the bottom. If you remember in some of the movies, the old blacksmith bellows and pumping air in the bottom of the furnace, that's what this does, except in large volumes. To make iron, you get your raw materials: iron ore, limestone, and coke. Coke comes from the Clairton works up the river. Get your three raw materials: iron ore, limestone, and coke. Put them in the furnace, and the coke provides your combustion, your heat. The iron ore melts, turns into iron, and the limestone acts as a cleanser. It gathers all the impurities that are in the coke and the iron ore, and you take some off. It gives you a purified form of iron. My grandfather worked here from 1910 to 1956, and he was foreman of the car dumper when he retired. My father worked here from 1939 to 1980, and I worked here from 1970 to 1984. I had cousins and uncles in there too, in this plant. We all lived in Swissvale. A lot of people, until the early 60s, everybody walked to work. You know, you walked down the hill from Swissvale to the mill. And that cradle would turn the railroad car upside down and dump all the material into this hopper. And it would hold it in the hopper till this transfer car here came. You can see the rail car. Then they would load the transfer car, and he would go and dump that material. He's got a side dump doors here. He would dump that material down into your yard. There was a half a dozen transfer cars running on this line, moving ore back and forth. A constant stream of railroad cars coming up through here to get dumped. Ore bridge moving back and forth, moving material. So it was a very busy place. And out in the front yard, there's rail cars moving everywhere, bringing cars here, taking empties away, moving ladles. So it's a very busy place. The whole cradle would turn it upside down. The side of the car would lay against these wooden blocks here. These large arms would come down and clamp the car, and they would dump it into the bin. So as you can see, it's quite impressive. It's large, a lot of noise, a lot of banging and moving and whirring and buzzing. But it was a pretty efficient way of getting the material out of cars.